Multiplying binomials. Here's an example of multiplying binomials. We know that we have binomials because in the first set of parentheses we have two terms. The x and the 3 are two separate terms, and together they represent a binomial. And we also have a binomial in the second set of parentheses. The 2x and the 5 are two separate terms, and together they create their own binomial as well. We know that we need to multiply these binomials together because there's no addition or subtraction sign in between the two sets of binomials, in between the two sets of parentheses. That tells us that we're just multiplying them together. And in this lesson, we're going to look at a few different strategies that we can use to accomplish that. First, we'll do a little review of the distributive property, which will come in handy when we look at the first method of multiplying binomials. So with the distributive property, we have one term that's in front of the parentheses. In this case, it's the 4. We can multiply that 4 through each term that's in the parentheses. So we say that we're distributing the 4 throughout the parentheses. So we start by multiplying the 4 times x, which gives us 4x, and then we multiply the 4 times the positive 3, and that gives us plus 12. So that will be the final answer here, 4x plus 12. Now when we're multiplying binomials, we don't just have one term being multiplied by something that's in a set of parentheses. We have two binomials that are being multiplied together. Two terms in the first parentheses, two terms in the second parentheses. So we can still apply the distributive property, but since we have two terms in that first set of parentheses, we'll have to use the distributive property 2 times, once for each term. So that's why we call it the double distribution method. Okay, so first let's start by distributing the x through the second binomial. So we'll have x times 2x, which gives us 2x squared, and then we multiply that x times the positive 5, that gives us plus 5x. Okay, now we need to do the same process with the 3 that's in the first binomial. So we're going to distribute the 3 throughout the second binomial. So 3 times 2x gives us positive 6x, and 3 times the 5 gives us positive 15. Okay, now we can simplify what we have so far. We can see that there are two x terms in the middle, the 5x and the 6x. We can combine those to get 11x. So when we put it all together, our final answer is 2x squared plus 11x plus 15. Okay, another strategy that you can use when multiplying binomials is called the FOIL method. So we're going to take that same example, just applying the FOIL method. Now FOIL is an acronym that stands for first, outside, inside, and last. And it's a way of just reminding you of what terms you need to multiply together to make sure that you don't skip over anything. Okay, so when we multiply the first term in each binomial, we'll have the x being multiplied by the 2x. That gives us 2x squared. So that takes care of the f in FOIL for first. Then we're going to multiply the terms that are on the outside. So we have the x and the positive 5. We multiply those together to get plus 5x. So that takes care of the o in FOIL. Next, we'll multiply the two terms that are on the inside. We have the positive 3 and the 2x. So we multiply those together. We get a positive 6x, and that takes care of the I in FOIL. Now we go to the last term in each set of the binomials and multiply those together. The 3 times 5 gives us 15. So that takes care of the L in FOIL. Okay, Now we can combine like terms and get our final answer, 2x squared plus 11x plus 15. The exact same answer that we got when we used the double distribution method. Okay, so both methods work in similar ways. It just gives you a different way of approaching the problem. Okay, so now let's look at this example, and as I walk through this one, I'm going to show you how you could use the double distribution method and the FOIL method with this particular problem. Okay, so using double distribution, we'll start by distributing the 4x through the second binomial. So the 4x times negative x gives you negative 4x squared. Okay, and that also takes care of the f in FOIL. We just multiply the first term in each binomial. Then we distribute the 4x to the 7, which gives us positive 28x. Okay, and that would take care of the O in FOIL. Those were the two terms that were on the outside. Now we need to distribute the minus x. Now don't forget, whenever you have a subtraction in front of a term, you can treat that term as a negative. So we're going to treat that minus 8 as if it's a negative 8. So we multiply the negative 8 times negative x. We get a positive 8x. Okay, so those were the two inner terms. So that's the I in FOIL. Now we distribute that negative 8 to the positive 7, which gives us minus 56. And those were the last terms in each binomial. So that takes care of the L in FOIL. Now we can check to see if we have any like terms to help us simplify this. And we do. We have the 28x and the 8x that we can add together, giving us the final answer of negative 4x squared plus 36x minus 56. Okay, now it's your turn to try. You can find the product of these two binomials by multiplying them together. You can use either method, the double distribution or FOIL. You can pause the video if you need more time. Okay, let's see how we can solve this one using double distribution and FOIL. Okay, you could have picked either method that you want, but I'm going to walk through how you would have used either one of those. So first, we distribute the x through the second binomial. So x times 2x gives us 2x squared. That takes care of the f, the first terms in FOIL. Then we distribute the x to the 2. That gives us positive 2x. Those were the outer terms, so that's the O in FOIL. Then we multiply the negative 7 times 2x. Gives us negative or minus 14x. Those were the two inner terms, so that's the I in FOIL. And then we multiply the negative 7 times 2, which gives us negative 14. And that takes care of the L in FOIL. Check to see if we have any like terms, which we do. We can combine those together, and that gives us our final answer of 2x squared minus 12x minus 14. So you just learned how to multiply binomials using the double distribution method and the FOIL method. Great job!